Today we're going to be taking a look at another old piece of technology, a bit of retro tech, some entertainment technology from the past, although I suppose the entertainment bit depends upon whether or not you find this particular pastime entertaining. But picture the scene. It's 1989, you're living in Japan, you're watching the television, and this advertisement comes on.
またハイカラかい？あんたが課長になるにはこれっきゃなかったよね。
開き直るそのすごい小さい面白いハンディカラオケハイカラコルグ
Yes, your dreams have been answered. It's a personal, portable karaoke machine. So next day you pop down to the shops, you go and pick one up. And not only do you get the karaoke machine, you get all the accessories to go with it. So you get the nice carrying case, and you get a bit carried away with the music, and you go and buy yourself a set of 10 music cards to go with it. Let's take a look at it. So everything that you see in front of you here was available as a deluxe bundle back in 1989. If you didn't want to go for this deluxe set, well, there was a basic set as well, which consisted of the high Cara, an audio out cable, and the headphones with a microphone. But this deluxe set, well, it included a few things that were also available as accessories. So we've got the Korg CA-10, that's the cassette adapter, so you can do your karaoke in the car and play it out over the car's speakers. We've got a decent quality microphone here, the Korg MP-10. That's an XLR mic, and we've got the XLR to mini jack cable with that. Instructions, of course. 10 music cards, and each of these contain 40 tracks. And then those cards that were inside those, so they could be carried around inside the carrying case, they've been put into this music card index folder. So they're all in there at the back, a little bit like trading cards, but then at the front we've got the details of what's on each of those cards, and it's a nice little ring-bound folder. So just looking around the player itself, top right, power button, continuous play, key up and down, so you can change the key of the song, and you can also change the speed of it with this one here. Select song forward or back, or fast forward and rewind as well, and this is play and pause. Now if we look at the bottom, we've got a DC power jack, audio out, and a microphone in. Moving on to the side, we've got 3 wheels on the side here that adjust the microphone volume, the amount of echo, and the output volume. On the top is a card slot, and on the back, the battery compartment, which takes 4 AA's. Now, if you wanted to use this as a personal karaoke device, I'm going to use the term personal in inverted commas there, because, of course, people can hear your singing, even if you plug this headset in, one going into the audio out, one going into the mic in. So I don't know where people actually use this. I suppose just in the comfort of your own home would be fine, although even to other people in the house it would get a bit annoying hearing somebody singing without hearing the music to go along with it, and it would be even worse on something like a train. But I'm not going to use this because you won't be able to hear the music. So what I'll do, I'll plug the output into the speakers I've got in here, and I'll plug the input into that external mic. Okay, we're nearly ready to go, but if I turn it on, it's telling me to insert a card. It doesn't have any built-in music at all, so no doubt when you bought this, you'd have to buy some cards with it, and that would perhaps encourage a few people to go ahead and get that deluxe bundle. But let's go and pick a card. So these music cards, you can see perhaps along the bottom, they all cost 7,800 yen each, and I was imagining that each one of them would have a different genre of music on it, but it turns out it's just a set, and they're all a mix of music. I'll pick a random one out just to demonstrate. They've all got the same type of bit of information on the front here. Music card volume 7. This music card is for high Cara, including enka, mood, pops, rock, jazz, and many kinds of music. Music that goes straight to your heart. Let's enjoy singing all together. And they all say the exact same thing. On the back though, that's your list of tracks. Now, unless you're particularly familiar with Japanese songs that were made before 1989, which I'm not, then most of the tracks on all these cards won't be something that you've ever heard before. There's some good melodies on here, I'll play you a few in a minute, but I don't recognise any of the tunes. There's a few names like Cat's Eye, Show Me and Desire that are listed in English. But if you look across to the right, you won't really be able to see this very well on the camera, but we've got the songwriters listed down the right hand side here. And these aren't English songwriters, so it's just a Japanese band using an English title or an English title on a familiar Japanese song, but then when they sing it, it's all in Japanese. There's a couple down here, though, that do have some English names on, or at least Western names, but when I've played them, I don't recognise them either. So, yeah, there's only one track across all 10 volumes of these cards that I do recognise, and we'll play that one later on. Now, I've just put the card back in the box briefly, just to show you what one of these would look like when you bought it in the shops. It's very much like buying a game for a console, although with this one you get a large lyric sheet. I think that's some kind of registration card that you'd send off. And then the card itself, which reminds me a little bit of the cards that you got for the Master System or perhaps the PC Engine. Now, it's in a protective cover here, and you can see that the track titles are listed on there. So yeah, there's the connector that goes into the machine, and then on the back there's not really all that much to look at. So let's pop it in. When you look at it like this, it really kind of feels like a Game Boy for karaoke, and it came out the same year as the Game Boy. So let's put our cartridge in here and switch it on, and I'll zoom you in a bit so we can have a look at that screen. And just like the original Game Boy, there's no light on this display, so no karaoke for you in the dark, unless of course you've memorised the lyrics. But I think that's where our comparison should stop, because the displays are quite different. This is just text, it's characters, there's 16 characters on there. So this works fine for Japanese lyrics, because Japanese text is a lot denser, so you can fit a lot more on the screen. If anything comes along with English lyrics, which some of these songs add the odd English word in here and there, it's quite difficult to follow. So I'll demonstrate this. Let's find a track. I'm going to demonstrate it with this track, number 17. It's got a good melody on it, and there's also a bit of English language text that shows up every now and then. But I want to correct something that I said earlier on. I said the cards have 40 tracks on each. That was based on the couple that I looked at, but this one doesn't. This one only has 31. They all start at 11. They don't use numbers 1 through to 10, so it goes from 11 all the way up to 42 on this particular card. I'm assuming they're just limited by the memory. And I'm guessing these are some kind of MIDI track or something very similar. And of course, as you're probably aware, if you look at a MIDI file, they vary in size quite drastically from one another. Anyway, let's play track 17. Now, I'll put a direct feed into the camera in a moment. Just a couple of things to mention while it's doing this intro section, though. It starts off listing the track names and the songwriters, that kind of stuff. But then when it gets going, you'll see there's a little marker that follows the text along the bottom, and that's where you're supposed to sing in time with the music. So if I just pause it, I'll put the output into the camera and you can have a proper look. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, the world's worst karaoke artist. Thank you very much. I'll play this one because there's some English in here, and it just demonstrates how badly it works with English language, because as soon as the text appears on the screen, you're supposed to be singing it. You don't get any kind of advance warning like you do with the Japanese text. You could be singing this bit over here in Japanese, and it's this bit that's coming up next. Well, in English, it's like bang, 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 so you've really got to know your tune. But here we go, Cat's Eye. Oh, I've got to sing the Japanese bits, of course, perfectly as well, so get ready. Blah, 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 passion fruit. Blah, 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 every night. Blah, 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 passion beat. Fall in love. Ba, 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 cat's eye, magic players, bands dancing, blah, 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 blah. See the problem? Da, 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 cat's eye, magic players dancing. Da, 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 da. We get you, mysterious girl. Okay, I think that's enough. You get the idea. Now, if you don't share the same impressive linguistic and singing abilities as myself, you can just listen to the tunes on a card, and if you wished, you could get it to play them sequentially without stopping by pressing the grey button at the top left, and that's something I've been doing over the last couple of days. And every now and then a track pops up that gives me a bit of a flashback to a Sega Mega Drive game. And now just a quick demonstration of how you can manipulate the tune as it's being played. Now, I wanted to try and have a quick look inside here, but there's only one screw in the middle there, and if that one, once I've removed it, doesn't help the thing come apart, I'm not going to force it anymore. I don't want to break it, but I thought we could perhaps maybe see what chips are inside here, so let's take that out and find out. I'm sure the musicians amongst us would recognise the sound the chip produces anyway, so perhaps they'll be able to put it in the comments, even if I'm not able to get inside this. Hold on, seems to be coming apart. Now, initially, there really wasn't too much to see in here. There's one chip, that's a YM3411, and I thought that was to do with the sound. It's been speculated it's probably more responsible just for the echo effect. The only other large chip on display was at the top on the display circuit. This is part of a unit that's been provided by Sharp, and that would have been able to be used in many different devices, and apparently versions of that chip are still being sold today. But that was really it as far as the larger visible chips. There's a couple of tiny ones. There's one under the cartridge port, but there was nothing that really looked like a full-on sound chip. However, thanks to Vinushika on Patreon, I now know where those chips are hidden. If I remove the top of the cartridge slot, I can see another couple of small chips there, but flipping that board over reveals the real heart of the system. So the main sound chip that we see here is a Korg 87425. And then in addition to that, we've got an NEC chip, and I believe that's the ROM, and then there's a Toshiba RAM chip. So there you go. That's a look at the chips behind the music. This has been a difficult thing to show in a video. I don't really think I've done it justice because there's not really that much to see, is there? I mean, you're just looking at a tiny little screen with text scrolling across that the vast majority of people watching this, including myself, were unable to decipher. So it probably doesn't really come across as being too much fun, but I think with the right cards in here, and if you spoke Japanese and you recognise these songs, I think this would be pretty entertaining. The idea of a personal karaoke machine, though, it's a bit odd, isn't it? I mean, karaoke seems to be one of those things that's a group activity. Then again, this thing can also be plugged into external things and people can use it together. And it seems pretty robust. I mean, it's lasted all this time. What's that, 31 years now? It's a pretty good technology for the time. I enjoy listening to the tunes. You've probably seen from other videos that I do like music like this in a way, amongst loads of other kind of music, but this kind of MIDI type style of music, chip tunes, that kind of thing. And all these cards I've got here, I've been listening through some of them. A lot of them, they kind of start really exciting. They'll throw a lot of instruments in there and there's a big start to it, and then it kind of goes off and goes quiet because, of course, that's the bit where you're supposed to be singing over, so it can't be the whole proper melody of the song. But some of them really are catchy, and I wish I'd kind of recognised the songs. I mean, this is a really nice song. I'll just put this one on in the background. A lot of them sound kind of familiar. You're thinking, oh, I know this one. and then it goes off and you don't know it. So, you know, you think, oh, this is that one out of the James Bond film. And you go, oh, no, it's not. Some interesting songs anyway, but not really good ones to sing along to. However, I did find since I bought this and I started putting this together that there were some more cards for sale on the Japanese auctions. It seems like the Korg people released quite a catalogue of music for this. So I ended up bidding a silly amount and getting hold of another, I don't know, dozen or so cards, which at the moment are stuck in Japan. It'll probably be 6-8 weeks before they get here at the current situation. But in a future video, I'll play you some of those because there's some Beatles songs in there. No doubt those will hit a content match, but there's some other pop songs that I think might be Western ones as well. So we'll be able to compare those with another karaoke machine. I bought another portable karaoke machine. This is an 80s one. I think I bought a 1990s one from Yamaha. Anyway, I'll show that in another video and we can maybe compare the two because there's quite a bit of an improvement from your 80s up to your 90s. And then I've also got a more modern one as well on its way. So yeah, not that I'm the best at singing karaoke, not that it's something that I really enjoy doing, but there's an appeal to me, like a portable music box that takes cards and plays chip tunes. I don't know, maybe it's that side of things. But I think, anyway, that's enough said for this one. Hope you've enjoyed having a look at it. I tried to make it as interesting as I could, but it's not really that interesting to look at. So what I'll do to finish this one, hopefully there aren't any content matches through all this with all this music playing, but if there are, I'll have to cut loads out. But anyway, yeah, to finish this one, I think we'll just play out with a bit of real life karaoke. So here goes. Okay, so you know I mentioned there was one track on all these cards that I recognise. Well, I'll perform it for you now. Let me just turn the echo up a little bit. Yeah, that's just a little bit, isn't it? Okay, here we go. I've got the lyrics printed out. Can you guess what it is? I'm not going to read the screen, but I'll have to know when it started. And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend... Oh, just too slow. Hold on. Okay, max speed. Let's go back to the beginning. It's a bit more like it. And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. For what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he has not to say all the things he truly feels, and not the words of one who kneels. The record shows I took the blows, but I did it my way. Thank you. No, thank you. No encores. I'm sorry, I've got to go. And that's it for the moment. As always, thanks for watching.